Okay, what first made you think maybe law is the path for me?
I don't know what made me feel like law was going to be the thing. But what I just remember is that from primary two, I already knew that I was going to become a lawyer. You know, every child, there's this gut feeling that you would have as a child. You know, in class, they will ask you, what do you want to become? It has always been law. I've never said any other thing. Some people will say medicine. At some point in time, you know, their passion will change. But for me, it has always been love right from primary two. And then before I got admission, I became more inspired by the works of Chief Ganifawe. So his ideals, his principles, his values, the fact that he loved human rights, imbued that passion, motivated me more to stay on course. Because, we heard a lot of things as a child. Law is expensive. Hey, is it? Lawyers read, you have to all of those things. So somebody like Ganifare, some of the things I saw him do motivated me to stay on that course.
All right. If your friends and family were to describe you, which three words would they describe you as?
They would describe me as firm, as disciplined, and as honest.
Honest. That sounds cool for a lawyer. All right, next question. What's one lesson the legal profession has already taught you about life, generally?
Generally, is that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you reach a compromise.
Okay, so if you had a completely different career outside law, what would it be and why?
I'll probably be a writer or a journalist. I love anything literary, anything related to words, public speaking, literature. I'm a great fan of literature. If you go to my house now, so, sometimes I look at my luggage filled with books. In fact, many of them my library cannot occupy them. The current library I have cannot occupy them. They are just stacked somewhere, So I love books.
Okay, who is or are your role model in the legal industry? People that inspire you.
Okay, let me answer that question this way. I'll talk about people that have impacted my career. First and foremost, it's Mr. Babatunde Fashanu, BAM Fashanu. He's a foremost land chieftaincy and election petitions lawyer. So he has really impacted me greatly. Most of what I know today that people say I'm good at, I owe it to him. The secondly is Chief Olisa Agbakoba. Chief Olisa Agbakoba is somebody whose reasoning is beyond the surface. It's easy for me to connect with him because I'd worked with another silk who knows his onions. So it's easy. But if I had not worked with somebody like that, I don't think I'll be able to flow with Dr. Olisa Agbakoba. If you are not giving him what he wants, he gets easily irritated. Yeah. So it's somebody who pushes you to think fast, work fast, and deliver. So these two people have really impacted me greatly.
If we looked at your playlist right now, what kind of music would we find? And who is your current favorite artist?
Oof. Picking a favorite will be difficult. But on my playlist, you will see Aya by Burna Boy. you will see Bima by T.I. Blaze.
Okay.
You see some Fola's song.
I'm not surprised.
And I like, I don't know. There are a number of them. I like Wizkid, but not the Wizkid of now, the Wizkid of 2010 to 2015 or thereabouts. Yeah. Then Wandeko.
Wow. So you're a big fan of Burna Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's great. Okay, so what's one skill you have that has nothing to do with law?
Nothing to do with law, because writing has to do with law, speaking has to do with law.
So what's that skill you know you have that this one no, has nothing to do with law? It's not even law related at all.
Woo.
Can you dance?
No. No, I can't think of any now. I can't think. I'm not a crafts person.
Oh.
Yeah, not.
Okay. Okay. All right. So before I ask this next question, I'd like to ask you this: what is that thing about studying law that surprised you the most? Maybe in your course of career, that you realize that this was not what we were told about the law. This wasn't what I expected. So what's that one thing that it came as a surprise? Oh, is this really in law?
Yeah, not in the subject of the law itself, as a discipline, but in the practice of law. You know, before gaining admission to study law, I'd always thought that law is for every kind of person in the society. I mean, it belongs to people from all social strata. I got to understand that if you want to do well in law, if you want to have a thriving practice, you need to have a high level of social capital. It seemed to be like an elitist profession. Very bitter and shocking.
It is.
Is it true? And it's not for the poor. Let me also add that law is not for the poor. I remember back then in the university, you know, we were told to contribute an amount of money for a program, and you know, majority of the students were complaining that I think 5,000 naira then was too much. This was too much. Then the dean said, he came to class and said, look, law is not for the poor. A lot of us were angry at that statement, and for years I did not forgive the prof.
Oh, really?
Yes, but in the course of practice, when I started practice, it now dawned on me that law is not for the poor. I don't know how people will take it, but this is my experience. It's not for the poor. If you don't belong to that high or middle social class, you have a lot of work to do. That's what it means. A lot of work to do.
For me, I think there's this narrative about lawyers being law being meant for liars. Like you have to be a liar to become a lawyer. So I don't know how true that is.
It's an old myth, and it's not true. Law is not about truth. It's not about the truth. We need to get it right. Law is about facts. And truth is different from fact. Truth is fact if it can be established. If it cannot be established, it remains your truth. So for you to say this is for it to become a fact, you should be able to establish it by supporting it with evidence. So what you are saying might be true, but if you cannot establish it, you'll be termed a liar. You cannot prove it. So law is about facts. So if something really happened and you cannot prove that it happened, you'll be deemed to have lied. So that's just the unfortunate thing about law. Yeah.
Okay, so my last question is this. One word to describe your personality. Who are you? Who is Segun? Outside the office, outside the law, who is Segun? Describe your personality. Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you a pastor? Are you a Buddhist? Are you? Who is actually Segun?
Segun, I would say I'm an introvert or an extrovert. I can be both. I'm an extrovert if I'm in the midst of people I'm comfortable with. Some people say I look serious, and I won't lie, I won't deny. Even when I look at myself in the mirror, I see that I have a serious look. You know, you also hear some people say that I can be funny. So it depends on the part of me that you engage. You know, it depends on I'm very lively. I'm very lively, so I can switch. I'm adaptive. If you give it to me hot, you might get it hot.
So,
if you like me, I like you. If you don't like me, I don't like you. It's weird to say, but that's who I am. In fact, I like people who like me. I don't like people who don't like me. You know, I'm simple-minded. but I take life seriously. That's one thing I can tell you about myself. I take life seriously. I have not come to this world to play. So people see that, you know, on my face. Maybe it's why I was working one day in my hall back in university. I attended University of Ibadan, by the way. And I didn't know that I had passed a room of one of my classmates without seeing him. He thought I had noticed him, but I didn't see him. He said, you look at the way you were moving, like a man on a mission. Hello, my name is Oluwasegun Ikuforiji. I'm a lawyer at Olisa Agbakoba Legal.